Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining Austin and I. My name is Soila. I'm the founder of the Divorce Magazine and a child therapist. And today we have Austin Chessell with us, who's actually you tell us who you are, Austin, and what you do.
Good morning. My name is Austin Chessell. I am a collaborative family solicitor based in Knightsbridge. I'm also a family mediator across Inner and Greater London at FAMIA.
Okay, I'm actually going to close the window, Austin, because I can hear the planes flying by. Sorry, 1 second. Yeah, flight path. Okay, so today, Austin, we're going to be looking at the differences between cohabitation and marriage. And I think it's one of those, I know so many people who have always seen that or thought there was no reason to get married at all. Some people say marriage is just a piece of paper, which it is, but it is quite a heavy piece of paper. And there are benefits to actually getting married as opposed to living together in the long term, and legal reasons why a wedding or a marriage is kind of like I hate to say the proper way of doing it because that sounds quite Victorian almost, but like if you want to get things done properly, that maybe that's what we are asked to do. Yeah? Okay. So we can start with one of the first questions that I have here, which is, do I have the same rights if I'm living with someone compared to being married?
It's a very different situation. I mean, there's still that myth that there is a common law marriage, but the difference between a cohabitation and a marriage, and if it's a same-sex marriage, is very different.
Okay.
So if you do want the protection, then you really should have a marriage, because if the relationship does break up, the court has got more they can refer to in terms of their discretion in the act to look at the history of the relationship. Whereas if you're going down the cohabitation route and through court, it's quite ancient and archaic with the property law and trust law that you have to argue in court, which could become very expensive as well.
Okay. And when you talk about, when I try and imagine what the main differences would be, because sometimes you can have people who've lived together for years. I know, a couple that have been together since uni, and they're actually older than me, and they've never married. But now they're talking about getting married, mainly because they have a daughter, and there's all these legal implications as to, what would happen when and with whom, if ever there was a divorce, or if ever one of them was, killed or not around.
I mean, if you're a married couple, it's not automatic, but you may want to look for spousal maintenance after separation. So we're in a cohabitation situation. It's not easy to get that. So that would be one situation where the marriage would benefit having a cohabitation.
Okay.
Also, the court can look at the age of the parties, length of the marriage, who has been contributing what during a relationship. So the court has got more discretion when dividing the assets there.
Okay, so actually the length of the marriage, the length of the cohabitation does matter. So if you have a couple that's been together for 3 years, it's different for the way things would work for them should there be a divorce or separation. Well, not divorce, there's separation. That it would be different from that of a couple that have been together for 15 years?
Well, even if you've cohabited for your 15 years, the weeks of the cohabitation rights are very weak.
Okay.
So the only way you could really have some form of protection would be to have a cohabitation agreement prepared before the separation takes place.
Okay.
So you could have a legal document drafted to say, in the event of a separation, this is how the property would be divided, this is how assets would be divided, how the children would be cared for. But not a lot of people know that, so they enter the cohabitation, they don't have this document prepared, and when the relationship breaks down, it's then really too late to have discussions to have this cohabitation document prepared.
See, I didn't even know about the cohabitation agreement. That's a really...
It's becoming more common because you're obviously seeing in the news there's more and more people cohabiting rather than getting married.
Yeah.
So this would be a practical way, if you did want to have some protection with the relationship ending, to have this document drafted.
Okay.
And another thing would be as well, if one person was just to die, you may want to consider having a will prepared during a cohabitation.
Okay.
Because in the event of a death, then the protection again is very limited for the other person. Whereas at least if you're married, then you've got the inheritance rights.
Okay. And if you're cohabiting and you've been doing so for 20 years, and one of the partners dies, does that mean that who would get who would inherit the property or the estate of that person? Would it be his family?
It would be the immediate family, so it wouldn't be the person you're cohabiting with. Again, you could apply to court, but then that could become very expensive. Okay. So why not have the will prepared, have the cohabitation agreement prepared.
Okay.
Also maybe consider having life insurance for both of you in the event of one of you dies.
Right.
These are the types of protection you can have in place if you decide not to get married. So at least you don't have to go through an expensive, timely court battle.
Yeah, okay. And the cohabitation agreement, is that something that they can draft themselves? Can they get a form online? Can they come and see you or see a solicitor? Or how would they get one?
Every individual has to make their own choice, but obviously as a family solicitor, you can have the legal advice. They can advise you what to go in the documents.
Okay.
And then it's more likely to be upheld by the court if both of you do have legal advice.
Okay.
The document would also have to be witnessed and signed after the document's been prepared.
Sounds pretty much like a prenup and a marriage certificate rolled into one.
Similar, but there are DIY websites out there, but every individual has to make their own choice. But I would say as a family solicitor, do it through a solicitor. You can both have your own solicitors, have your own advice, and then there's more chance of it being upheld if that cohabitation agreement is ever referred to.
Okay, and without a cohabitation agreement, and with a couple that have been together for a while and they have got children and they separate, how does that affect?
Well, post a separation, there'll still need to be child maintenance paid.
Okay.
The first concern of the court is for the child to be housed.
Yeah.
But if it's not clear cut, then that matter will have to go to court, and that could become very expensive.
Yes.
I mean, I work with quite a few couples in mediation who are not married, and just seeing the stress they're in, the anxieties, they wish they had this cohabitation agreement prepared, because we work with couples and we can reach an agreement more cost effectively in mediation and courts, but a lot of them, reflecting back on it, do wish they had this cohabitation agreement, because when you are separating, emotions do run high. It's a tricky situation, because there can be that power imbalance, because couples have taken legal advice. They know that the rights are not the same as a married couple.
Yes.
So it's a difficult situation.
Okay, all right. Well, that's it. So those are the differences between cohabitation and marriage. And we've learned, well, at least I have learned something new about the cohabitation agreement, and it sounds like the way to go if you're not, because unfortunately, even though it's just you two getting married, there's a whole, or living together, there are whole other people or institutions out there that are kind of like watching, I hate to say, but should anything happen, then what do you do about it? So it's kind of like an insurance, a protection on either one of you.
I guess checklist points are, if you are in this cohabitation relationship, consider having this agreement prepared, both of you having wills prepared, both of you taking out life insurance. So if the relationship does end, you've at least got some safeguards in place.
Yes.
If you don't, then it could end up in a costly battle, which I'm sure both of you would want to avoid.
Yes.
There is the option of mediation, where you can try and talk things through to reach an agreement. And if you do reach an agreement in mediation, that can be then documented into a separation agreement.
Okay, all right, brilliant. Thank you so much, Austin.
Thank you.
Very much appreciated. And maybe you can tell us where how people can reach you, but no phone numbers, just maybe email or something.
Yes, I mean, if you visit the Felton's solicitor's website, I'm a family solicitor based in Knightsbridge, so I can meet them for a consultation.
Okay.
It may just be that they have thoughts on it and they want to decide if a cohabitation agreement is right for them. and if they do need help, I can help them prepare this document.
Okay. Thank you so much, Austin.
Thank you.
Okay. Take care.